In this video, we're going to investigate the graphs of sine and cosine with a period change. The equations that you see at the left, those involve values a and b. In a previous video, we've investigated what a does, and that creates an amplitude change. Now in this video, we'll investigate what b does to the graph and then how to graph it. Ready to get started? Let's go. Our task is to graph sine and cosine. We have these letters, capital A and capital B. Capital A stands for amplitude. Capital B is what we're investigating. The value A tells you how to mark the y-axis, and it is amplitude. But the value B is going to affect the period, that is, the length of the cycle, for sine and cosine. That will allow you to indicate the correct points on the x-axis. If b equals 1, then basically you won't see a number next to x, and the period then is just 2 pi. But if b is not 1, then you'll see a number there, and the period is not 2 pi. The period will be calculated as the ratio of 2 pi to b. Let's take a look at the graphs of sine and cosine, and recall that there's just 5 points that we need to plot when we are creating the graphs. For sine, the pattern is baseline, then high, then baseline, then low, then baseline. For cosine, it's high, then baseline, then low, then baseline, then high. Counting the number of points, we use just five important points for each graph. So when we do graphs with period change, we'll keep in mind that all we need is 5 critical points per cycle. Okay, let's get to the fun stuff and let's start graphing. Graph y equals 2 sine of 4x over 1 cycle. All right, I'm going to start by labeling the y-axis with the amplitude. I'm going to go up 4 spaces and call that 2, and then I'll go down 4 spaces to call that value -2 on the y-axis. Now that I've done that, I am ready to start marking my x-axis. I have the 5 points that I need to plan out. So the very last point I want to plot is the end of the cycle. We'll take the formula 2 pi divided by b, and so we'll divide by 4. Notice that is reducible, and that gives me the period of this function. Let's go out 8 spaces and mark the x-axis. Okay, I'm marking this with pi over 2. Now let's go halfway in at the 4th spot and let's mark that with pi over 4. How did I know pi over 4? Well, because half of pi over 2 is pi over 4, and we are halfway in. What's half of pi over 4? It'd be pi over 8. Now the very last one I want to mark is right in between pi over 4 and pi over 2, and I just count up. 1 pi over 8, 2 pi over 8, 3 pi over 8, and the last one is 4 pi over 8. I have all of my x-axis values marked, and now I am ready to graph. Remember how we only need to graph 5 marks? Here they are: baseline high, baseline low, baseline. And with that, we complete the graph of y equals 2 sine of 4x. Next, we want to graph y equals 5 cosine of 3x. Let's start with the amplitude. A equals 5. I want to go up to 5, so let me place 5 here. And then I need to go down to -5, and I'll place that here. Now let's turn to the x-axis, but we do need to find the period. So once again, let's take 2 pi and divide it by the b value. And when we do that, this is not a reducible fraction, so this right here is the period of the cycle. So once again, let's go back to the x-axis and let's walk out 8 spaces and mark it. We need to mark this space with the value of the period. So I'm marking that here as 2 pi over 3. Let's go halfway in and let's mark that as half of 2 pi over 3, which is pi over 3. Halfway in from pi over 3 would be pi over 6. Halfway in between, what would that be? Let's see, we have 1 pi over 6, 2 pi over 6, 3 pi over 6, but 3 pi over 6 is reducible, goes to pi over 2. I will mark that third spot right there on the x-axis with pi over 2, and that completes then all the points that we need to make for the x-axis. All right, great. Now we're ready to graph one cycle of cosine, but we have to remember to place our 5 critical points at high, baseline, low, baseline, high. We just follow those points and we create the nice smooth curve that cosine is, complete the curve, and there it is. I've graphed one cycle of the cosine function. I hope you found these 2 examples useful in being able to graph sine and cosine with a period change. Subscribe for more great math videos.